In this video, we're ranking every top college basketball team on their chances to win the national championship. Our first team is Michigan. I don't think this is much of a surprise. I think they're winning it all.
Yeah, got to be win it all. They're just crushing teams still. Lost to Wisconsin. Wisconsin shot like 60% from three or something like that. They're tough to beat. Too big, too unselfish.
Now on to Iowa State. This team sometimes, the past couple years, always chokes, actually. Not sometimes. They always choke. I think they could make the Final Four this year if they stay healthy.
I'd put them in the just outside. They just are too inconsistent at times on offense for me. Under TJ Ottsberger, it's kind of been shown that they can't quite finish, and I just don't think they quite got it again. But they could be in the Final Four. I wouldn't be too shocked, but I think they're just outside the dominant four.
On to Kansas, if Darren Peterson ever plays, I think they're just outside. They're really good on defense, one of the best defensive teams in the nation, and they can score. They're getting better. Their guards are playing better together. I think they're just outside right here with Iowa State.
Yeah, I think they can be just outside or dangerous but flawed. But I'm good with just outside. I think their main flaw is if Peterson plays, if other players stay healthy.
Okay, Virginia. I really like this Virginia team. They're really good defensively, really good offensively, super efficient, can shoot the ball. I like them. They're super dangerous, but they are a little flawed. Play a little slow sometimes, but this is not the old Virginia team that we've seen in the past. We could probably move this down realistically to no shot. What do you think?
I think they fit pretty well in dangerous but flawed. They're pretty solid in all facets, but they're just not dominant at anything. That would be their flaw, just not being elite in anything.
Arizona with Pete and the Bradley kid, we got them in Final Four ceiling, coming off two tough losses.
Yeah, I think them in Final Four ceiling is strong. They've shown that they're a dominant team, that they can get win over top-tier teams. I think they should breeze through pretty early. I don't love Arizona as a whole, but I do think that they're probably pretty strong to get to a Final Four.
And the next team we got here, going to go probably just in front of Virginia in the tier in dangerous but flawed, is St. John's. Very inconsistent, but they got some names that have transferred in and have played well at other places. Maybe not in March, but throughout the regular season. I think they have some talent, but definitely inconsistent.
Yeah, they got Bryce Hopkins there. Was a very good player at Providence. Had some injuries. He's back. Patino team in March, so they're always going to be dangerous. Their flaw, as you said, inconsistent. Not super deep.
On to Louisville with Michael Brown. That dude's a stud. He just dropped 40 points the other night. They're also in dangerous but flawed.
Yeah, I think they had like 118 points or something like that the other night. But they also will give up 80 or 90 a lot. I think they're just a little weak defensively, but they're super strong offensively. So if they get hot from three, that's where they're dangerous. They could make a run. They could beat any team. But they will struggle to get stops, especially in high-pressure moments.
To Purdue, this might ruffle some feathers in the comments or viewers. We got them in Fraud Watch. They're frauds. I don't know what to tell you. I was watching Mark Titus, who's a part of Barstool, and he basically explained this perfectly. He said Purdue is like a suburbs AAU team, and they can beat other suburb AAU teams, but when they get into the city, play the city teams, they get ran out of the park, and they get beat up pretty bad.
Yeah, with that, I would probably put them in no shot realistically. There's just too many top teams that are too deep that are just going to score on them at all times they play. I do think with Kaufman-Wren and Braden Smith, you never know. It's a good guard and big combo. They got a couple other backup bigs. They got some shooting, but I just don't think they'll be able to get enough stops. The offenses are so developed and consistent nowadays. I just don't think they can. They're not winning at all.
On to Cam Boozer and Duke. This team's really good, especially the last couple games I've watched of them. They can score the ball really well, and they can rebound as well. Good coach.
The Duke team is very good. I think Final Four ceiling for sure. They got they're a lot deeper team than it seems. They're a lot better defensively than it seems. They have a lot better offensive numbers than it seems, which I just feel like they're not going to lose to teams that they shouldn't. They lost to North Carolina. They probably should have beat them. Lost to them on a buzzer beater. Led that game late and should have finished that game off, though. But Final Four ceiling for sure.
Is it finally going to be the year for Houston? Finally gets it done. Kelvin Sampson out there in Houston. Obviously, he's a good coach. He has had teams that have competed in the past. Is this finally the year that he gets it done?
Yeah, I like them in the win it all. I think Kingston Fleming's different. He's fast. They still got Emmanuel Sharp. They still got Milos Uzan. They got multiple big men that are aggressive defensively and can rebound. People just don't score on them. They've lost games, but it's low-scoring games, and they lose close. They're in every game, and they got players who can win it for them late in games.
This one's not going to take long. Realistically, St. Louis has no shot to win the national championship. They're going to be a fun team to watch. Maybe they get a couple wins come tourney time, but realistically, they have no shot to win the championship.
Yeah, they're going to run into somebody just bigger, better, and stronger.
Texas Tech, all the way up here. Nope, we're putting them in fraud watch. JT Toppin, Christian Anderson, they're good players, but this Texas Tech team is not winning a national championship.
Just not deep enough, too young. I think they have two freshmen in the starting lineup. JT Toppin and Christian Anderson, potentially the best 1-2 punch in the country of big man, small guard, but there's no way they're winning 6 in a row.
UConn and Dan Hurley back after last year wasn't terrible, but a little let down from what they were going on with their run. I think UConn in the Final Four ceiling category.
Yeah, I agree. They're a pretty dominant, well-coached team. They're strong. They're old. They got a lot of returning players that have been there with even through the other championship team 2 or 3 years ago. But Final Four ceiling again. It feels like they could be back.
Now the Zags all the way over on the West Coast. I like them in just outside. I've been seeing a lot of people on X and on the internet saying frauds, which I don't quite get. I like them in just outside.
Yeah, I agree. Just outside. They've had some closer games than they should. They've lost the one game that they should in the WCC conference, but it happens every year. They always get caught slipping one time a year against somebody like Portland, like they did. Yeah, they're just outside. It's a well-built roster, well-coached team.
Florida, the defending national champions, their guards are playing better together. They still have their good big men. Obviously, they still have Todd Golden, who is one of the best young coaches. Personally, I like him right here in front of Kansas for just outside. I'm not putting them up there with the Michigan, Houston, Arizona, Duke, UConn teams, but I definitely think they're Elite Eight worthy at least.
Yeah, I agree with that. They have potentially the best combination of big men, in depth at big men. Their guard play could lack. It'll be interesting. They've been playing better and better, but they're not Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin. So I think just outside is right for them, but they could make a run for sure.
Nebraska just last night coming off a tough loss at Iowa. I think they're still dangerous, but they're definitely flawed. I'd say they're probably right here, just in front of St. John's or just behind St. John's. They probably don't play enough defense. They got offense and they shoot the ball from 3 really well. Not against Iowa, but I think they're a tough team. Dangerous, but flawed.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think they quite play enough defense to be in a national championship conversation.
And talking about a team that plays no defense, so they can't win a national championship, that's Alabama to a T. This defense is one of the worst that they've had in some time. They're going to put up 95 points, but they're going to give up 96.
Yeah, they played no defense. And I don't think their offense, honestly, is as smooth and flawless at scoring as in the last couple of years with Mark Sears. So I do think that makes them even a little more flawed.
Now, if we were recording this video a couple days ago, last week, we would have them up a little bit more, but BYU has no shot, especially with Saunders' ACL injury. He's out for the year. I just don't see BYU making a run in the tourney at all.
No, I agree. They still could. They still got Rob Wright. They still got AJ Adebonsa. But I agree with the Richie Saunders injury. That's just going to set them back for sure.
And our last team here, we got Michigan State. I don't know where you're sitting on them, but I think they're pretty dangerous, but definitely flawed. Maybe up here, right next to St. John's, in between Nebraska. They struggle with consistency in scoring the ball. Obviously, they got Tom Izzo, who's a great coach in March. They might win a couple games just because that's what he does. And they're defensive, aggressive, physical type play. but they still have the same problem of not being able to score a ton.
Yeah, to me they're dangerous, but I'd almost put them in fraud. I just don't think they have anybody on their roster other than Fears, who essentially is Grayson Allen at this point, who really moves the needle. They do. The only thing that they got is they play hard, and I'll give them that. They play very hard, but they're not winning a national championship, I don't think.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments down below who we put in the wrong tier and what tiers you would put them in.